Can you feel this, Rob? My goodness. Ready for football inside University of Phoenix Stadium. Glendale, Arizona. It's BYU and Arizona to finish up a heck of a day of college football. And we say welcome inside. Joe Davis, Brady Quinn, Jenny Taft joins us in a moment. You know, with any season opener, Brady, there are question marks, there are unknowns, but it seems like there are more unknowns in this game than any you'll ever see.
Yeah, it's funny. Throughout the course this week, we heard anxious, nervous, excited. That's usually something you hear from players, not the coaches. With all the new additions to both of these teams' coaching staffs, they're nervous to see how their scheme, how their elements will play out versus an opponent.
You know, one of the big question marks was who would play quarterback for Arizona. Rich Rod answered that earlier today. It will be Anu Solomon. And we knew that that'd be an important thing. We knew that the decision would be important, but you and I both think that the most important player in the field might be the running back in Nick Wilson.
Yeah, really, both Wilson and Solomon had fantastic freshman years. They were both banged up last season, so they didn't have as much productivity. Now they're both back healthy, and they're going to rely heavily on the run game.
How about on the BYU side? They get a couple of the nation's best players back from a season ago. Taysom Hill, their quarterback, played the first half of the opener, then was injured, lost for the season. And Jamal Williams, their running back, stepped away last season for personal reasons, but they're both back tonight.
Yeah, and BYU's got a new offensive coordinator in Ty Detmer, and anytime you're installing a new offense, you got to rely heavily on the run game. They're going to rely on Hill and Williams both running the football early in this game.
You ready to do this?
I'm ready to go.
And down to the field, here's Jenny Taft.
Joe, thank you. Well, Rich Rodriguez told me that experience had a lot to do with Anu Solomon getting that start at quarterback tonight. I watched Solomon during warm-ups. He looked focused, he looked relaxed, and he looked confident. And in talking to many of his teammates, they told me Solomon is a laid-back guy, not the kind of player who would let this quarterback competition get to him. But keep in mind, Anu Solomon thought he was soft last year. He wants to play tougher this season. So even though he may be laid back off the field, don't expect to see that from him tonight.
All right, Jenny. There's his head coach, Rich Rodriguez, 4-0 in season openers as the head coach at Arizona and beginning his 5th season tonight. On the other sideline, a first-time head coach, 40-year-old Kalani Sitake, who grew up a BYU fan and then went on to play fullback for Lavelle Edwards and the Cougars, and now he's the head coach. Tyrell Johnson back to receive this kick from Corey Edwards. The 23rd meeting between BYU and Arizona. And away we go from Glendale. Johnson can fly and gets popped at the 20. So that's where Arizona begins with Rich Rod's up-tempo spread offense, and it will be Anu Solomon winning the quarterback competition over Brandon Dawkins.
Yeah, he's going to bring a lot of that experience to the table. You heard Jenny Taft just talk about a moment ago, but look, a lot of people thought he had a down season last year. That's just not the case. He improved in a bunch of different statistical categories, but he's going to be facing a BYU defense that's in a bit of transition. Harvey Longy in particular moves from linebacker to defensive end. So we'll see how that plays out through the course of this game.
Yeah, 5 first-time starters on that BYU defense. Longy's one of 4 guys playing a new position. Solomon off play action. They start him on the roll into a window, but incomplete, and it's second down at 10.
And a good decision by Solomon. Really nothing there. The BYU defense playing a cover 2 zone, 2 deep zone underneath. And as they rolled out on that side of the field, there's just nothing there. And as you look at Solomon's stats, one of the most productive players in college football, especially when healthy.
On second down at 10, he gets away from Francis Bernard, directing traffic and back-to-back throwaways, setting up 3rd down.
And that's the other thing that Anu Solomon brings to the table, is the ability to evade rushers, fix the problems, use all those different tools, and he doesn't force anything downfield. He just throws the football away, lives to play another down.
Now BYU trying to force a 3-and-out to start things off. They rush only 4 on 3rd and 10 and still get pressure. Solomon gets rid of it, but Butch Power shuts it down. Wilson for a short gain, and it's 4th down.
Well, I was curious to see how much pressure BYU would bring early in this game. So far, Kalani Sitake's defense not choosing to pressure, just allowing their four-man rush to take effect. Saul Moon had to move out of the pocket. He found a running back, his little outlet right there, but for a minimal gain.
So the punt team comes out. Garrett Juergens back to receive this punt. And Matt Aragon with a flag down. Juergens signals for a fair catch at the 31-yard line, and we'll see what the call is. Kevin Marr, head official tonight. All right, so BYU will start its first possession at the 36-yard line. It's the debut of Ty Detmer's offense, and it's headlined by the return of Taysom Hill and Jamal Williams.
And BYU has an extreme advantage up front on their offensive line. They're going to utilize that and run the football, in particular with Jamal Williams. And on defense for Arizona, they're going through a transition as well. New defensive coordinator Marcel Yates now at the helm. And Tellus Jones, he's plays that stud hybrid linebacker safety player. He's going to be key in this defense to allow them to go from 4-down fronts and 3-down fronts and show different looks and mix things up.
Totally overhauled things from last year when they're in the bottom 20 nationally in points allowed, yards allowed. So Taysom Hill's back out there. The 26-year-old's first pass is complete to Laulu Putu-Tau for a pickup of 6.
A quick pitch and catch, and that's going to be a lot of what we see. It extends back to Ty Detmer's time in the NFL, 14 seasons as a player, and he talked about wanting to implement the West Coast offense. Give Taysom Hill some easy answers, easy pitches and catches, and as you can see, not necessarily in vogue in college football, but they actually huddle and they take their time and communicate.
And extra important tonight with the way Arizona operates offensively, BYU wants to do its best to keep them off of the field. Jamal Williams, first touch in a couple of seasons, and he's stopped after a short gain by Parker Zellers. So Williams missed last season for personal reasons, went home to California, where he lived with his mother and still watched the games from home. But he's back, and they say more mature than ever. One of the team captains.
Look for Marcel Yates to possibly heat things up. He did that when he was with Boise State a year ago as their defensive coordinator, playing against BYU.
Williams motions out to an empty set. Hill steps away from pressure, and Taysom Hill, it looks like, has enough for the first down with Paul McGlure making the tackle, and that's what he brings to the table. And
that's the element that's so hard to prepare for. You know, throughout the course of the week, you try to give looks on the scout team, but you can't mimic tackling a guy like Taysom Hill. He's 6'3", 220 pounds, and he's athletic. As you can see, as he barrels towards that first down marker, and that's the element that you just can't prepare for.
First down from the 47. Williams surges forward behind that offensive line that has such a huge size advantage for a pickup of 6.
Yeah, I mean, to a man. I mean, it is staggering, and that's part of the issue that Arizona's in. Anytime you try to transition in your defense, you all of a sudden have to realize that you might not have the bodies on your team. And as we've seen with both of these teams, they've got to move different players in different positions, and that's not easy. Sometimes it takes a while to get traction.
Williams within about 900 yards of the program record for career rushing yards. He takes the fake. Hill rolls and hits Tanner Baldery. First career catch for the tight end. Moves the chains inside the 45.
So here's the battle in the trenches that we're talking about, and the size advantage that BYU has on their offensive line over the defensive line for Arizona. And you can see right there, that's staggering. And Ty Detmer's going to lean on that throughout the course of this game. And then he's going to utilize the play action pass and the boot action like we just saw in the last play.
Opening drive for the Cougars. First down from the 42. L.G. Brown leading the way for Williams, who stepped out of initial contact, then got stacked up. Sonny Fuimaono is there with Demetrius Flanagan fouls and Tellus Jones, and it's second down.
Well, what they may lack in size, they don't lack in quickness. That's where you see the Arizona defender was able to get off the snap of the ball quicker, find penetration, and take down Williams in the backfield.
That's Paul McGlure, their leading returning tackler. Converted safety, moved into the starting linebacker role midway through last season. Pressure coming on second down, and they drop it off to Williams, who's run down by the blitzer. It was Jones coming off of the edge, and it's 3rd and 10.
We talked about it. He's going to be the key to this Arizona defense. He provides them flexibility, whether he's rushing or blitzing, playing the run, or covering downfield. He's a very versatile player. He's a smart player that he is able to keep his gap integrity there, so he doesn't allow the big run to play out.
Arizona's defense trying to get off of the field with a 3rd down and 9 on BYU's opening possession. Arizona bringing it and getting home to Hill, who steps out of it once but not twice. He's sacked, loses 3.
That's the aggressiveness that defensive coordinator Marcel Yates showed at Boise, and he's bringing it to Arizona. They're going to change up their looks. They're going to stand up linebackers over your center and force you to have to declare who you want to try to protect. And they're going to allow then their quickness and their athletes to make plays in space to try to gang tackle and bring down Hill.
And so each offense forced to punt on their first possession. Johnny Linehan drills one. Michael Davis can't make the over-the-shoulder catch, but not sure that ball ever went into the end zone. It did, a late signal, and it is a touchback. Arizona's offense back to the field in a scoreless game after this. Three straight carries for Wilson. This one goes nowhere. Sai Tautu tracked him down from behind. Corbin Kafusi, hard to miss him. 6'9", 270 pounds. He spent the last 2 years playing for BYU's basketball team.
And he's a nightmare if you're a quarterback. When you drop back, even if he doesn't get pressure to you, just him standing up, putting his arms up, he blocks passing lanes. And the most frustrating thing for a quarterback is tip passes.
His brother, Bronson Kafusi, now in the NFL with the Ravens, played at BYU. Solomon throwing, perfect strike, complete shy of the 20. Troy Warner stopping Samaje Grant, and it's 3rd and short.
This is where Rich Rod would like to live, where he still can utilize the element of the run in 3rd and 2 or the pass. Allows the entire playbook to stay open, forces the BYU defense to be a little bit more vanilla.
A light box on 3rd and short.
When do you ever see this? The Arizona offense actually slowing down, but they do this from time to time. They'll check the play.
Only got 5 seconds in the quarter at this point. Wilson has a 1st down. And now this first quarter comes to a close. BYU and Arizona in the 23rd meeting. First time since they played in the Las Vegas Bowl back in 08. Season opener, through with a quarter and no score. Well, 2 years ago was a magical season for this Arizona program. They had their first 10-win season in 16 years, played in the Pac-12 championship game. And last year, a disappointing season. They went 7-6 in 2015. The win in the New Mexico Bowl, a 4th consecutive bowl trip. But all in all, that's not what people had in mind coming off that 10-win season.
No, and that kind of began the narrative that Anu Solomon took a step back, and that's just not the case. I think the quarterback competition had more to do with Brandon Dawkins getting better than Solomon taking a step back. He improved in every statistical category, maybe besides passing yards per game, but that was because the rushing attack got better.
Trying to get something going offensively. They've punted on each of their first 2 drives. Sai Tautu bringing an end to this run by Nick Wilson. On 2nd and 7, Solomon keeps and throws into traffic. 4 white shirts surrounding his intended receiver. Fred Warner applied the pressure, and it's 3rd and 7.
Those are the sorts of things that you'd like to see Anu Solomon grow from. A little bit of a miscommunication, but either way, throwing back across your body into the defense is never good. maybe get away with it from time to time, but for the most part, there's going to be an extra guy in there that you don't see and end up throwing an interception.
Solomon can't get away. Harvey Longy got to him. From middle linebacker to defensive end to the backfield in his first sack of 2016.
Well, he's undersized for a defensive end, but that comes in handy on third down when you can utilize that speed and quickness around the edge. Harvey Longy, like many other BYU defensive players on their defense, making a bit of a transition in scheme. So far, it looks like it's going all right.
Yeah. The coaches were optimistic that he'd be able to make the change, even though it was on relatively short notice. He started working there at the beginning of fall camp. A line drive will give Garrett Juergens an opportunity. And Juergens steps out of a tackle. Garrett Juergens back to the 48. 55-yard punt and a 19-yard return in great field position for the Cougars in a scoreless game when you come back. Out of an empty set, Jonah Trineman needs a block. Didn't get it, but got close to a first down before Jace Whitaker dragged him down.
The Arizona defense gambled, tried to bring pressure. Taysom Hill wisely found his outlet on the outside. He did miss a wide open man as no one covered the fullback.
Williams has the first down and more. There goes Jamal Williams. He's back at BYU and inside the 5. Flags come flying in near the end of the play on a 42-yard run for Williams.
It looked like he might have stepped out anyways before he got in the end zone.
Illegal block in the back. Offense number 84. 10-yard penalty. Second down. Correction. First down.
There we go.
And so that brings, because the spot foul, you still get a pickup, but it brings it back instead of first and goal to first and 10 at the 20.
And this is the area of the field where you might see BYU try to isolate Kurtz in a one-on-one matchup. Take a look at that last play. You can see the block in the back at the very end as Williams stepped out. Kurtz is at the top of your screen.
Arizona bringing pressure from that side. Taysom Hill pulls it out of the gut of Williams inside the 15. You could see him thinking about getting on the springboard and hurdling, couldn't you?
Well, I mean, he had enough speed to get around Maono off the edge. You'll see 99 waiting for him, just didn't take a great angle. And that was one of the issues that the Arizona defense had last season, and something that defensive coordinator Marcel Yates identified right away was the fact that they took bad angles, and that led to a lot of big plays.
First trip inside the red zone for either side. Second down and 2. Jamal Williams sets up first down and goal. DeAndre Miller with a tackle after a gain of 4.
Really the BYU rushing attack having its way with the Arizona defensive line. We're only in the second quarter. That size and that power and strength will continue to wear on the smaller Arizona defensive line.
Ty Detmer calling his first game as a collegiate coach. On first and goal, Williams off the left side is shut down shy of the 5-yard line by Tellis Jones.
They're going to have to rally to the football if they want to try to stop the rushing attack of BYU. But going back to Ty Detmer, we talked to him this week as he prepared for this game. We asked him, how do you go about deciding what do you want to run, what do you want to call as your offensive system, given the short span that he's coached? He said, well, I was a backup in the second half of my career. Kind of practiced it on the sidelines, kind of calling plays in different situations. And that kind of led me into coaching once I finished playing.
Coaching at St. Andrews in Austin, Texas. Second down and goal. They fake to Williams. and hit Tanner Baldery, who's toppled at the line of scrimmage. Chase Whitaker and again Tellis Jones, and it's 3rd and goal.
This is one of the things that the Arizona coaching staff loves about Jace Whitaker. Number 17, you can see him reading the eyes of Taysom Hill the entire time as he watches Baldery come out from the backfield. That's textbook.
They sprint Hill on 3rd and goal. He turns the shoulders and floats to the end zone, incomplete. Nearly intercepted by Jarvis McCall. 4th and goal.
Really not much there. The BYU offense tried to flood that side of the field as they rolled out Taysom Hill. Look at the elevation. Woo. Jarvis McCall is the guy that moved from cornerback to safety. They talked about the fact that when they looked at him, they just didn't feel like he had that cornerback body and profile. It more fit that of a safety when you look at his skill set.
He definitely passes a safety eye test. Yeah. Strong, tall. Red Almond on to attempt the 24-yarder. Oh boy, he skims it through there. I think somebody might have even gotten a piece. We finally have points 5 minutes into this 2nd quarter. Red Almond makes it 3-0 Cougars.
As we look at Kalani Sitake talking with Ty Detmer, you know, it was interesting. Being a defensive coordinator for such a long period of time, you would have figured that Kalani Sitake would have wanted to call the defense when he came to BYU, but he said no. He wanted to be a head coach and just trust that his assistants would do their job and that he could delegate and just watch and manage the team. And as we kind of sat down and talked with him, you saw how energetic he was, how passionate he was, and that's what he wanted to kind of manage and feel was the passion and the feel for the team throughout the course of a game.
Yeah, he said, the way that Ty will call the offense is the way that I would call the offense. The way that Tuiaki will call the defense is exactly the way that I call the defense. They're trusting his guys that he hired. Tyrell Johnson from his own goal line, cut down at the 15. Get it in space, Samaje Grant for a gain of 4.
Samaje Grant, Nate Phillips, kind of interchangeable as those slot wide receivers. They're smaller in stature, but very shifty and tough to bring down in open space.
Gave him 5, 2nd and 5. Solomon rolls, finds a window in the zone. It's Nate Phillips and a 1st down to the 45.
Arizona starting to pick up their pace now. Solomon so good with his eyes, really opened up Phillips, looked off the defender, looked outside, and kind of found then a window for Phillips on the inside.
Michael Davis hits Phillips right away, and then Pau rallies. No gain. 2nd down. You said it. Here comes Arizona trying to get in rhythm and get that tempo moving.
Well, and that's the biggest key for the BYU defense is if you can get stops on 1st and 2nd down, you'll then slow them down because now it takes a little bit more time when you're trying to figure out what that 3rd and long call is. You only come into the game with so many.
2nd down and 14. Wilson motions out. Solomon with time to step into his throw. That's off of the hands of Phillips. Chased by Francis Bernard, and it's 3rd down and long.
You know, at some point, Arizona's got to try to find more of a balance. It seems like with each series, it's either run heavy or pass heavy. They haven't really seemed to find a complement by mixing in both of each throughout the course of any given drive.
Hayden coverage for BYU. Solomon with tight windows to see through. To the sideline and picked off. That's Francis Bernard. And BYU takes over at the 35.
1st down, BYU.
Well, these are the sort of veteran mistakes that if you're Anu Solomon, you just can't make. And as he buys time, it's only a 3-man rush. There's 8 in coverage. BYU did a good job of flooding the passing lanes. And Solomon just got too greedy. Bernard does a tremendous job of reading his eyes, extending to be able to get the football. There's another look. And that's a linebacker. That's a tremendous play outstretched like that, have those sorts of hands to make that play.
First game at linebacker,
Yeah,
converted
exactly.
running back. And you see some of the skill.
You know he has hands then if he came over from the other side of the football.
That's right. Several guys from BYU have made the move. From the 35, they feed Williams, who's got a gaping hole and a first down to the 47.
At right side of the offensive line, look at Canuch, number 78, number 73, Lapuaho, just paving a way for Williams. Well, you can drive a truck through that hole.
Yeah, and you know, good size up there, but there are some question marks. There's 3 first-time starters as far as full-time roles up front, guys that have seen spot duty. But Kyle Johnson, Brad Wilcox, 2 of their most experienced linemen, not available tonight for different reasons. Hill checks it down. There's Hunter Marshall, first career catch at BYU for the JUCO transfer. Dane Cruikshank with the stop.
That tight end position that historically has been one where they've had success and guys moving on to the NFL. They'd like to try to find those guys, although they've had to move guys from the defensive side of the football to put them in place to try to find those guys with that sort of athleticism and body. Hunter Marshall obviously fits that bill.
Kalani Sitake kept telling us it's all about getting the best 11 on the field, right? And that's where you see a lot of those changes.
He kind of said that in the context of the defense, but there's no doubt they mean that on the offensive side as well.
Squally Canada comes in at running back for the first time. Hill over the middle as a wide open Colby Pearson spinning his way for a first down on his first catch of the night, a gain of 14.
You know, you might have wondered if Taysom Hill would be a little bit rusty. Doesn't seem to be the case. He was patient, saw the zone coverage, waited for Pearson to get to the open window and delivered.
And Hill 8 of 11 so far. Not hit any downfield shots, but an efficient attack in this first half.
Hasn't had to.
Yeah. Squally Canada, a Washington State transfer that last year sat out the regular season, became eligible for the bowl game. Finally gets a carry in a BYU uniform in the bowl game and fumbles. So this one has to feel good in that he simply hangs on.
Yeah, he's a 4-star recruit coming out of high school. Showed a lot of talent and ability. Let's see why they're so excited about him to kind of add him in as a changeup. His size and stature a bit smaller than Jamal Williams, but every bit as tough of a runner.
27 total plays for BYU, 16 of them runs. On second down, it's a first down. Laulu Pututau sticking that shoulder down and surging forward inside the 15.
The Arizona defense is just giving too much cushion on the outside. That was Cruikshank, number 9. He's reading the quarterback eyes, but he's not breaking quite enough. You'd like to see him be able to get up in the face of the BYU wide receivers and challenge them.
Laulu Pututau, good size, 6'4". Injury-riddled freshman season last year, but they've got high hopes for him. Braden El-Bakri leads the way for Jamal Williams, who's an eyelash short, and it's second and goal.
Nice second effort by Williams. For the second, if they didn't blow that whistle, he might have found his way in. Good job by the Arizona defense rallying to the football. When we asked Coach Yates what they'd have to do on the defensive side of the ball, he said it's simple. Tackle and rally to the football.
Well, they did that there to make it second and goal. Able to force a field goal the last time BYU had it inside the 10. El-Bakri straight ahead. And if you had him scoring the first touchdown of the season for BYU, you're probably the only one, and you're a winner.
Well, and how appropriate. Kalani Sitake, a former fullback, he's got love for that position. You better believe he wants to feed those fullbacks who never get enough credit. I think it obviously caught even the Arizona defense by surprise. Look at Sitake. He's fired up, man. Before the game, it was hard for him to hold back his emotions as he talked with us down on the field. You could just tell he was ready to go, and it wasn't even being nervous. I think he was just excited to see his players playing against a different opponent besides themselves in camp.
And he misses the extra point. El Bakri with a rushing touchdown. Only touchdown of this opening half. And a 9-0 BYU lead over Rich Rodriguez in Arizona.
Toughest part really for Arizona is what do you do? I mean, you're not able to stop the run. They've got a big-time size advantage. That's weighing heavily on you right now of your Arizona's defense. There's not a lot of answers that you're really going to have coming out of halftime into the second half.
Let's go down to Jenny Tapp, who's with Kalani Sitake.
Coach, your first half out of the way as BYU's head coach. You head to the break up. How are you feeling?
Feel great. I mean, it doesn't really matter about me. These guys are playing their hearts out. We've got a great opponent, so got 30 minutes left, and I was really pleased with the first half. We just got to finish this off.
What changes, if any, will you make?
We'll have some adjustments along the way, but don't want to give away a game plan.
Fair enough. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys.
All right, thanks, Jenny. Thanks, Coach Sitake. 9-0 BYU after a half. Right now, we send it to Rob Stone in Los Angeles. We welcome you back inside here in Phoenix, where BYU leads Arizona 9-0 here in the season opener for these two teams. And welcome you back inside the broadcast booth. Joe Davis and Brady Quinn. Jenny Taft with us tonight as well. So Kalani Sitake in his first game as head coach, we know he's a defensive guy, right? Defensive coordinator. He's got to be pretty darn happy so far.
Yeah, I think so. It's been kind of a seamless transition for some of these players who've had to change positions, and it starts off with the pressure that they've created. Butch Pau first, kind of shooting the gap, getting to Solomon. Then Harvey Long, we talked about his transition. Look at the spin move. The guy used to play linebacker. It looks like he's been playing defensive end for quite some time. And then Francis Bernard, former running back, now turned linebacker, utilizing those hands that he used to have as a running back to get the interception. And then it's been the running game. BYU pounding away, in particular on that right side of the offensive line. Whether it's been Canuch or Lapuaho, they've been having a lot of success. And think of BYU, a team that is able to get a lot of pressure. And tonight, 3 sacks already. And really, if not for Anu Solomon's mobility, they probably would have had a couple more. He's made some plays to help out.
They were one of the best teams in the country a season ago at getting in the backfield. And some different personnel, a different scheme, but the same result through one half of football. Jonah Treneman goes back with Matthew Hadley. Edgar Costello will kick it. Kalani Sitake era beginning for BYU. Arizona coming off the best 4-year stretch in program history. And away we go with the second half. And Jonah Treneman nailed at the 11. And that's where BYU begins. Jenny Taft, you talked with Rich Rodriguez.
Well, scoreless after the first half was not in the plan for Rich Rodriguez, but he just told me that the biggest change they need to make is with execution. He said, the guys know better than this. We need to make changes. We need to do it faster. I also asked him about Anu Solomon. He said, I'm really not that happy. Needs to settle down, but we've got time to do that.
Makes you wonder. That quarterback competition really coming down until today. If we're not going to see number 13, Brandon Dawkins, come in. A little better runner than Anu Solomon, but not as good of a passer or even handling pressure for that matter.
So here we go with the second half. And Jamal Williams, who ran for 78 yards during the first half, pinballs his way for 5 more.
That's really been the contrast in this game. When you look at the stats between the two teams. BYU now has eclipsed the 100-yard mark. You look at Arizona rushing the football. They're negative 12 yards right now. Start to see this BYU offense controlling the tempo of the game, playing from ahead, taking their time. Todd Detmer talked about how important communication is. That's why he wants the huddle. He wants to make sure everyone has an opportunity to see the down and distance, see the situation, understand what they have in the next play.
On 2nd and 5, Hill boots and dumps it underneath. Tanner Baldery, first down across the 35. Beg your pardon, that's Hunter Marshall with his second reception for 19 yards.
Arizona's been playing a lot of zone coverage, so as Taysom Hill comes around off of the fake, he finds Marshall all alone. It took both wide receivers to help clear out that zone. Marshall got lost in the shuffle after the play action fake.
Been an efficient start to his first game back from injury for Taysom Hill, 11 of 14.
He's building back that confidence he had once decently long time ago, 2013.
Out to Trinneman. They love his speed. The JUCO transfer shows some of it and shows some ability to shift his way into open space. 15 yards and another BYU first down. Trinneman a little bit slow getting up.
Talked about the confidence for Taysom Hill and building that back up. It's not just mental. From all the time that he's missed through all these different injuries, it's understanding he's got confidence in his body to be able to respond like it used to. Every time you suffer an injury, a lot of times you have to convince yourself that your body's going to react the way it used to before the injury. It's not always easy to do.
Canada to the short side, short gain.
Ran out of room. At some point, though, if you're the Arizona defense, you've got to figure out a way. Without BYU penalizing themselves, they haven't really been able to stop the BYU offense. And you've got to come up with some sort of answer, whether it's putting more bodies around the line of scrimmage, jamming at the line of scrimmage to the wide receivers, not allowing them to get these easy completions to the outside. You've got to come up with something to stop BYU from controlling this game right now.
Continue to pound away behind that big offensive line, mostly run tonight. Hill scans the field, zips one underneath, incomplete. With the coverage from Anthony Mariscal, came into the game for Tellis Jones when he left with an injury. 3rd and long.
And that's exactly the type of response you'd like to see. Being more aggressive in their zone coverage, trying to match the wide receivers and tight ends with some of their routes. This is a big 3rd down for the Arizona defense. They need to get a stop in, try to get off the field, and try to change the momentum in this game and really in this stadium.
Arizona brings pressure. Hill double clutches and zips one for a first down. Laulu Pututau for 20 yards.
Well, this is what you're tasked with as a quarterback at the collegiate level. You got to stand in there when the pressure's coming. But all that stuff is going on out around you and still deliver an accurate football. And watch as Laulu Pututau extends to be able to secure the football for the first down. Look at that. Used every bit of that 6'4" frame.
Had 6 catches as a freshman last year. He already has 3 tonight. First down from the 34. This is LG Brown. He's met in the backfield and loses a yard.
Well, we talked about what sort of answer the Arizona defense can come up with. Well, this is it. They're going to pressure. Last 2 snaps now a bit pressure. They're coming off the left side of the screen. And it's been effective. They need to utilize that pressure and that quickness up front to their advantage. Because they can't be able to handle the physical, the size, and the mass of the BYU offensive line up front if they don't start putting more bodies around the line of scrimmage for the BYU offensive line to deal with.
Jamal Williams back in. He'll take it. And great penetration from Justin Belknap. A redshirt freshman walk-on got his way through and dropped Williams for a 3-yard loss.
You know, that left side of the offensive line has seemed to be struggling so far in the second half. BYU had a lot of their production coming from the right side in the first half. So it's a little interesting that they continue to keep going to that left side of the offensive line when a lot of their most productive plays came from the right. Now the pressure's on Taysom Hill. I'd imagine they continue to bring pressure, force him to get the ball out quick, or force him to deal with moving in the pocket.
Converted 3rd and 13 earlier on the drive, and on 3rd and 14, they play it safe with a draw play that DeAndre Miller sniffs out, and it's 4th and a mile. What do you think?
I mean, to me, I'm just not a fan of the call. I mean, look, that doesn't really do much for you. I mean, maybe he breaks it, maybe not, but a draw play. Give Taysom Hill the opportunity to convert on another long 3rd down. At least, even if you're short, maybe it puts you in field goal range.
Right, it's not like you're in fringe range yet.
No.
You needed a chunk to get there. So the punt team comes out. Nate Phillips goes back. Johnny Linehan, who's only in his 2nd year as a football player. He's part of a few national championship rugby teams for BYU and a pretty valuable member of the football team now. 2nd time he's pinned one inside the 2. Arizona backed into its own end zone again. And trying to get Nick Wilson going. He only has 9th carry. He's only got 25 yards. An important part of this offense is getting that ground game going, and they've had none. Play action. One-on-one. Trey Griffey can't pull it in. Coverage from Michael Davis.
On how they're going about having success is they've brought in now 2 tight ends, Wood and Kern, to help shore up the protection and help with the run blocking. So we watch Griffey almost secure that catch. What that also does is it forces the BYU defense to be in more one-on-one coverage on the outside, more opportunities like that to Griffey.
On 3rd down and short, Solomon checks it down. It's Griffey for a first down. Up to the 20 on a gain of 10. Francis Bernard with the stop.
And a good read and a wise play by Anu Solomon. Micah Hanneman tried to bait him into the deeper throw. Kind of almost moved a little bit towards Griffey and then started to race back towards the deeper corner route. But instead, Solomon wisely was patient, found Griffey for the conversion in the first down.
Solomon now 12 of 19. On first down, Wilson with a flag down. They drive that pile forward. A gain of 8 with a flag down.
Personal foul, face mask. Defense number 54, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Or it could be completely wrong.
Huh?
Or it could be completely wrong.
Yeah.
It was hard to see in that entire scrum. It's over the nose guard, over the center there, as you see the shotgun snap right away. You can see his hand on the face mask of Eldridge as he pulls it around.
It's Taliauli called for the face mask, moves it up to the 44. Wilson has a hole this time. Nick Wilson is inside the 30, and finally Arizona snaps off a big play, 28 yards.
Well, BYU has started to play more of a softer 2-deep zone coverage. Look at all the middle of the field that's wide open right now. Watch as Wilson crosses the line of scrimmage, and you can see that seam. And now he's up on the safeties, and they've got to make a tackle in space. Not an easy job on Nick Wilson.
Longest run of the game for the Wildcats. They feed Wilson again. Butch Pau with the tackle after a gain of 2.
And this is the type of momentum and really rhythm the Arizona offense would like to get into, as we watch Wilson slow to get up. Not a good sign, but they do have depth there.
Yeah, the problem is Arizona fans right now are saying not again with Nick Wilson, who has dealt with injuries throughout his career, foot and knee problems last year as a freshman, both shoulders, had concussion problems, and has done so much work to try and be able to endure a full season of contact, but knocked around there.
Saw Tellis Jones on the defensive side of the football and talked about what he means to that side of the ball. Nick Wilson just as important for the offense.
It's a little surprising we haven't seen Orlando Bradford carry the ball yet tonight. He's in for the first time. And here is Bradford, stutter stepping and getting drilled. He got a yard, but that's all. Austin Heater, senior linebacker, dropped him. 3rd down.
BYU will rotate in those linebackers. Not only to keep them fresh, give them different looks, but they've got depth there. But beyond that, to be honest with you, when you mix up your defensive fronts, it forces Arizona to slow down so they can identify who's who might blitz, who might not. It's harder when you're mixing in all those numbers.
On 3rd and 7, Solomon well protected. It's collapsing, and Kafusi has his first career sack. Just like Big Brother.
We'll see at the top of the screen, Kafusi continues to work, and Anu Solomon's got that mental time clock has to go off. And you've only added yards now to a field goal attempt, but you got to get rid of the football. You got to take a chance, and he had a shot downfield at one of those wide receivers running a corner route, but he chose not to take it.
So Josh Pollock, whose first career attempt was a 52-yarder, now attempts it from 46. At the distance from 52. Has it from 46. Straight on and good to get Arizona on the board. First career made field goal for the sophomore from Highland Park, Illinois. Offense was moving, but then Kafusi got Solomon. It held Arizona to a field goal in a 9-3 game. Arizona's finally on the board with a 46-yard field goal from Josh Pollock, 9-3. Inside the 6-minute mark in the third quarter. They sent Hadley back to receive, along with Garrett Juergens. To Stellum's kick. And Hadley thought about bringing it out, instead takes it in. Taysom Hill in this offense get ready to come back out. Hill has been efficient so far. From the 20, BYU's drive begins with Jamal Williams. Williams breaks into the clear to the 44 on a 37-yard run that puts him over 100 for the night.
Boy, is he special. I mean, you can't talk enough about his ability as a running back. He's tough, takes care of the football, and then has the burst to be able to extend the drive.
Tim again for 5 more to the 39.
It just seems like the first tackler never brings him down. And if Arizona can't get 2 or 3 more guys to Williams, they're not going to be able to bring him down.
He's got 120 yards now in his first game back after sitting out last year. On second down, Hill to throw as a window underneath for Colby Pearson, and another BYU first down.
The reason why those easy completions are coming and why Taysom Hill has been so effective tonight is because Arizona continues to play the soft zone defense. And they allow these big windows for BYU wide receivers to sit in. At some point, Arizona's going to have to start moving to more man-to-man coverage.
That's the end of the third quarter.
And forcing the BYU wide receivers to have to deal with someone in their face.
In a defensive game, 9-3. Jamal Williams, the star player on offense, 119 yards officially in his first game back. We go to the fourth quarter in Glendale. Rich Rod hoping his offense can find life in the final 15. It has not been the prettiest of openers. 9-3 BYU leading Arizona behind Jamal Williams in his 119 yards on 17 carries in his first game back. After sitting out last year for personal reasons, leaving school last year for personal reasons. And the 22-yard line, Williams keeps the feet churning for 7.
And he is a load. And he keeps his shoulders square to the line of scrimmage. And what that means is there's really not much to hit. As you watch DeAndre Miller bounce off of him on that last play.
Hill keeps. Treneman gives him a block, but he goes outside of it. Has the first down. First and goal for BYU.
This is one of the things when you've got this zone read running scheme is you work on these fakes. Watch Taysom Hill put it in his stomach, and then he pulls it back out. Completely fools DeAndre Miller. And that's just not going to work. As good of an athlete as Taysom Hill is, you have to have more respect for him. And if you're DeAndre Miller, you've got to stay home because he's too fast to get around the edge and get a first down.
Impressive drive for BYU. First down and goal from the 7. It's Williams. No daylight, got 1. Ialua Fanene was in there to plug it. Second and goal.
Still waiting for them to take a shot to one of their tall wide receivers on the outside. Ty Detmer talked about that. Wanted to give Nick Kurtz an opportunity. Hasn't been healthy through training camp. Want to try to test his conditioning in this game, given he's only been back for a week, but also give him a shot. A little jump ball down here in the red zone.
There he is, 6'6" Nick Kurtz. He's to the top of the screen. 6'4" Laulu Pututau to the bottom of the screen. Hill looks his direction. Zips one for Colby Pearson. Touchdown BYU. And they will go for 2 to try and make this a 17-3 game.
Well, it doesn't get much easier than that. Devontae Neal got hung up with Laulu Pututau on his in route. And that allowed Pearson to have all sorts of room. Taysom Hill patiently just waited until he got there.
So they bunch several men into the right side of the formation. And Laulu Pututau by himself at the top. He'll look in his direction. Back shoulder and broken up. Dane Cruikshank knocked it away. BYU has its first passing touchdown of the season. Taysom Hill finds his fellow senior Colby Pearson, his fellow Idaho native. 15-3 BYU. Oh, BYU fans traveling well. There are BYU fans everywhere. About 50-50 split here tonight. BYU and Arizona fans and Cougar faithful hoping to see Kalani Sitake start his career here as head coach with a win. Ten plays. Jamal Williams 5 carries for 54 yards on that drive. And Arizona running out of time. This high-powered offense traditionally has been held to just 3 points. The lowest total under Rich Rodriguez for an Arizona offense, 330 yards. They have 169 right now. And Tyrell Johnson taking a knee with his toes at the goal line. Arizona begins from the 25. Solomon rolling, throwing, open man, juggled and held on to by Sean Poindexter for his first career Arizona reception.
Seems like nothing's really coming too easy for the Arizona offense. Poindexter bobbling that last one, but sure enough, a first down. Good completion by Solomon.
So on 2nd and 10. Wilson swings out. Solomon steps up. Dances his way free. Anu Solomon gets 6 yards and Harvey Longy pulls him down. 3rd and 4.
Longy, Tautu, both of them really getting good pressure off the edge. Undersized, but have that speed. Eventually able to chase down Solomon, but you can't say enough about how well Solomon's been able to buy time and really create on his own. Without that, I don't know that Arizona's offense would have any production tonight.
3rd and 4. Only 3 rush. So Solomon has all day. Zips one down the middle for a first down to Tyrell Johnson. Only his 5th career reception, and it goes for 20 yards.
When it felt like watching it from up here, Johnson was open forever. It just took him a while to get open. And obviously Solomon showing off the arm strength, zipping it in there for the first down.
First down run play, and he swings it out. Johnson again. He's got great speed. Absorbs a blow from Micah Hanneman. Got 8 yards, 2nd down and 2.
I know that play seems simple. It's so much harder than you think to execute that, because you've got the option to give the football or not. Then once you pull, now you can still either run and keep it or flip it outside. It's not easy to make that decision in split seconds.
Wilson has a hole and a first down. Logan Tyler tackles him. Arizona's got it moving. Gain of 7. 1st and 10 of the 15. Offense averaged 37 points per game a season ago. Still trying to find the end zone for the first time tonight.
Multiple tight ends set again for Arizona.
They blitz it. Those tight ends in there to lead the way for a Wilson touchdown. And here comes Arizona.
Well, the Arizona offense has found an answer. They utilize both these tight ends. And what happens when you're undisciplined, when you bring pressure or blitz, is all of a sudden you create running lanes. In that particular case, Arizona found a seam in the middle of the field. Nick Wilson takes it home. We got a ball game.
68 of his 86 have come in this second half. Extra point is good, and we've got ourselves a game. Nick Wilson finds the end zone. Arizona within 5. Arizona finally gets in the end zone. Nick Wilson with a touchdown run from 15 yards, capping his 7th play. 75-yard drive that lasted only 2 minutes. That's a little more what you expect from Arizona's offense.
Yeah, and that's the toughest thing about playing Arizona. It's just like when you feel like you have control of the game, all of a sudden it takes them 2 minutes and they're right back within 1 score. Now it's up to the BYU offense to respond, try to gain control of the momentum that Arizona's built a little bit now. You can start to see the Arizona fans start to get into the game.
Yeah, they've had hardly anything to cheer about all day. Matthew Hadley back to return this kick from Edward Gustav. Hadley will take a knee. Hands off to Jamal Williams. Penetration that time shut the play down.
And it was interesting, too, talking to Sataki about why he made the decision when he made the decision with the BYU quarterback competition. He said he wanted his team to identify who the leader was. Now, they always had identified Taysom as the leader, but he wasn't necessarily in that position quite yet. And so Sataki felt like it was important for the team to understand that Taysom Hill was going to be their quarterback once again and was going to be in that position compared to Arizona, who waited up until today's game to decide which quarterback would start.
And he said, too, that he didn't want to give him the job just because he was a good leader. He had to earn the job, be the more productive player, and they think that he is. Williams breaks a tackle. Another, and then he's drilled by Fuimaono. And the red shirts rally to the ball to make it 3rd down and a mile.
He's considered the heartbeat of the defense. That's how they describe Fuimaono. He didn't get him the first time, but he kept with it, and he got him the second time. That's how you gang tackle. And that's really what it's taken to get Jamal Williams down in the running game tonight.
Third and 23. Hill underneath Colby Pearson. Open field tackle by Devontae Neal, and it's 4th down.
The Arizona defense now doing their job getting off the field. Giving the opportunity now for the Arizona offense to have good field position and plenty of time.
Inside is 7 minutes. Rich Rodriguez's defense forcing the punt after his offense finally punches it in. Linehan drills it. Phillips goes back on it. Nate Phillips gets around the first man. Hemmed in by Matthew Hadley. The ball comes out. And the whistle blows, spotting him dead at the 31. 6:28 to decide it. Plenty of emotion in this series opener. BYU up by 5. Solomon over the middle. It's picked off by Kai Nakua.
Well, this is where they've had a lot of production, both in the passing and running game. It's in the middle of the field. Nakua able to take advantage as Johnson fell down in the process. Nakua, who led the team in interceptions a year ago, had 6. He's a ball hawk back there. Does a nice job of reading the eyes of the quarterback. Very opportunistic.
The 9th interception of his career. Captain of this BYU defense. Puts it back in the offense's hands, trying to drain some clock with a 5-point lead and 5:52 left. From the pistol, on first down, Jamal Williams squirts through for 6 or 7.
Cody Ippolito is going to be upset with himself because he had an opportunity to tackle Williams in the backfield. Did a nice job of getting penetration. Could only get a hand on Williams. He's just too strong. He's going to run through that every time.
Ippolito, first year back from that torn ACL, missed all of last season. Second down and 2 as we near the 5-minute mark. '24th carry for Jamal Williams. And he's a yard short of the first down as Justin Belknap stopped him. 3rd and 1, 5 minutes left.
Big 3rd and 1. I mean, Arizona needs to do all they can to put as many bodies as possible without giving too much on the back end or not leaving themselves vulnerable on the outside, covering down on some of those bigger wide receivers. So the 2 tight ends, 2 running back formation. And this is your power set.
Williams has, it looks like a first down, and he does. Needed 1 and got 2 to keep the drive going.
It's been something that we've subtly seen throughout the course of this game is Ty Detmer really mixing up the personnels and forcing the Arizona defense to have to adjust. It's been 2 tight ends, 2 running backs, 1 wide receiver, 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, 1 running back, 3 wide receivers at times with 1 tight end. Putting a lot on the plate of defensive coordinator Marcel Yates and even the players down there on the field to adjust.
Try to grind that clock down. 4:10 left to go now. This time Taysom Hill keeps it. Demetrius Flanagan fouls, tracks him down. He's stayed in bounds. Clock keeps on running inside of 4 minutes. It'll be 2nd and 9.
Wise play, but good tackle by Flanagan fouls.
Taysom Hill's first game back, trying to lead BYU to a victory. He's been efficient throwing the ball, and his offense has ran behind Jamal Williams. 141 yards now on 25 carries. 3.5 to go. This time nowhere to go for Williams.
You know, at some point, Arizona's going to have to start thinking about calling their timeouts, and I believe they just took one now, just looking to save some time. And as fast as the Arizona offense operates, they still have plenty of time.
Arizona, they're first of the half.
3:21 to go. Rich Rod uses that first timeout with his team down 5. Taysom Hill and BYU looking at 3rd and 10. Arizona rushes only 3. Hill has time, steps up, throws it, sideline. Pearson drops it.
I don't think it would have mattered either because he had ran out of bounds. And I'm not even quite sure if he had reestablished himself. I know he was forced out.
Yeah, and the official's hat came off.
By the way, what a ball by Hill.
Yeah.
You can see BYU trying to utilize that double move. Not much room on the sideline. You could make the case that even though the defender helped kind of force him out. Oh, wow.
Pretty close.
Look at the job Pearson did of getting his feet back in, though, to reestablish himself.
Either way, it's dropped. And it's 4th down, so the punt team is out there. Arizona's going to get it back. Johnny Linehan has been dynamite tonight. It's another one that gave him a chance, but it bounds into the end zone. And Arizona will begin at the 20. Anu Solomon. More yards than any quarterback in Arizona history through his first 2 seasons, and then found himself having to battle for his own job coming into this season. Through spring ball into the fall. Wasn't officially named the starter until earlier today. What a way it'd be for him to justify that starting nod by leading Arizona to a game-winning touchdown.
And he's got such a calm presence and demeanor about himself. Seems like he likes being in these sorts of situations.
He's got 3:04, and they need a touchdown. His first throw is over the middle and complete to Nate Phillips. They get a chunk to start the drive, 24 yards.
Again, that's the part of the field they've been able to exploit on the BYU defense, as BYU have started to play more of a softer, two-deep zone coverage. It's that middle of the field that ends up being the weak part.
From the 44, Wilson swings out. Solomon steps up and takes off, sliding down for a gain of 4. They'll spot him where he began the slide, and it's 2nd down and 6.
And he's going to have to use his legs. He's going to have to scramble. He's going to have to buy time. 2-minute drives for quarterbacks. That's what it's all about. It's all on you. No real threat of running the football for the most part as far as a called run. It's scrambling that comes into play.
Here comes pressure. It's picked up. Solomon, scramble drill. Eyes downfield. Samaje Grant with a stiff arm for a short gain. Kai Nakua shoved him out. 3rd and 3 with 2:05 left.
And obviously at this point, this is most likely 4-down territory, given the fact you got 2 timeouts and a winding clock with 2 minutes left in this game, down by more than a field goal. So you're going to have to go for it if you don't pick this up.
Solomon making a call at the line. On 3rd and 3. Wilson straight ahead. 1st down and more. Arizona takes its first lead of the night. Wilson goes 49 yards and Arizona leads by 1.
Unbelievable. Just when you think they didn't really have the option to run the football, they allow Nick Wilson to strike once again right through the center of the defense. Let's see, BYU fans, absolute frustration and dismay. Never saw this coming, had complete control of the game, really up until this 4th quarter, where Arizona's been able to have quick strikes and mount a comeback.
And they will go for 2. Try and make it a 3-point game. See what the Cats go with on the 2-point conversion. They have the timeout to think about it. Solomon pumps left, rolls right, back of the end zone and broken up. And so a field goal would win it for BYU.
Nice play by Powell. We actually saw this play in their walkthrough, but as we take another look at the touchdown for the Wildcats to go ahead. Taysom Hill, you're up next.
Wilson's touchdown run has Arizona in front by a point, but unable to convert the 2-point conversion.
As I was saying before the break, you know, we saw this play actually in walkthrough. We saw him kind of fakes to the left, boots to the right. He does the wise thing. You got to give him a chance. There's no reason to kind of eat that football or throw it away. Well, Powell with a nice job extending to get the interception. And that's a huge point now, because you've essentially given BYU the opportunity to win the game with the field goal instead of being able to tie it.
Let's remember, first-time starter as the field goal kicker, Brett Allman. Perhaps huge pressure on his shoulders in his first game. Matt Hadley will have a chance for the first time tonight. Here comes Matt Hadley. BYU, good starting field position at the 31.
Well, Taysom Hill wants to follow in the legacy of so many other great BYU quarterbacks. It's all about 2-minute drives to win the game like this. And it's going to be on his shoulders to be able to make it happen.
Laulu Putu-Tau with a stiff arm to get to the sideline, and then he goes down. Out of bounds, they say. 17 yards and a first down.
Well, Laulu Putu-Tau runs a little short, shallow cross route. And Mariscal gets kind of caught up, trying to decide if he was going to go over top or underneath the official. That's what helped create the separation and really the window for the catch and the first down.
From the 48-yard line. Hill goes into the short side for Jonah Trinnaman, quickly out of bounds on a short gain into Arizona territory.
Taysom Hill's too good at picking a defense apart if you're going to play soft coverage like that. They'll take that all day long and ink their way down the field. Arizona's got to get up in the face of these BYU wide receivers and challenge them.
Hill 2 for 2 to start this drive. Second down against pressure. Got rid of it just in time as Cody Ippolito got home. 3rd and 7.
Cody Ippolito plays that hybrid linebacker position, as you see, and a little extra things to say after the play. But it's because he's versatile. He's able to get to the quarterback in part because of his size and quickness at that linebacker position. Let's see if Arizona decides to heat it up again and bring some sort of pressure.
On 3rd and 7, they rush only 4. It's a first down strike to Jonah Trinnaman inside the 40, inside of a minute in a 1-point game.
Just an easy pitch and catch. Look how much cushion Trinnaman's got. And he runs a simple slant route. You got to play up in his face. You got to make it harder to complete that pass.
A draw play, and Jamal Williams crosses the 25, the 30. Inside the 30, first down to the 26.
And BYU with plenty of time, 43 seconds, 2 timeouts. You're in field goal range now. Obviously, you're still a little bit concerned given the lack of experience with your field goal kicker. But at this point, they're kind of having their way now as they work down the field.
From the 26-yard line, Williams again. Up to the 20. And really, all through camp, kicking duty's unsettled for BYU. As Kalani Sitake uses his second timeout. Right now, it's a freshman, Jake Olroyd, who's warming up. It's not Red Almond, who coming out of camp had won the job. Taysom Hill in this offense trying to get him even closer. On 2nd and 4. Hill keeps it and has room. Pushed out of bounds after a first down.
Stops the clock, gets the first down. You still got your timeout. So essentially, you can still run the football. Everything's still in play here as they get closer and closer, making it more of a chip shot. And that's if they don't try to take a shot and score here. That's the other element of all this.
Yeah.
Because Arizona has to put so many guys in the box, they've got one-on-one coverage with these really tall wide receivers on much smaller defensive backs for Arizona.
Now, do they dare put it up there? Nick Kurtz down to the near side. Instead, it's Williams into the teeth of the defense. They have 1 timeout left, and the clock winds inside of 20 seconds. And what is going through Jake Olroyd's mind right now? They'll run one more play to center it up and call a timeout. Instead, a flag comes out.
Well, Rich Rod's fired up. I'm not exactly sure what just happened, what they're discussing out there. But, you know, as they get closer, when you're on a hash, it actually makes a harder angle, by the way, for the kicker.
Could we have a runoff situation? Here's Kevin Marr.
Start. Offense number 96. BYU has elected to take a timeout to avoid the 10-second runoff.
So it's a good thing that they had that timeout left, or Arizona could have run the clock out by virtue of the runoff rule. And they have no choice but to bring Jake Oldroyd on. His first career field goal attempt as a collegiate is to try to win it from 33. Right down the middle. His very first moment as a college football player is a legendary one. 4 seconds left.
And it doesn't get much better than that. Literally split the uprights. Kid's got ice in his veins. Now Arizona will obviously have an opportunity to return this kick, which you would imagine that they'll be lateraling the ball around to try to find some sort of creative way of scoring a touchdown.
Jake Oldroyd, freshman out of South Lake, Texas, calmly nails it and puts BYU up by 2 with 4 seconds. Wow. I think he ought to retire right now. Go out on top. Doesn't get any better than that.
Well, you knew it right away. So did Mitchell Jerkins. But again, Arizona will have a chance to either return this. Now, if not, if for whatever reason there's a touchback or something of that nature, again, you're going to see some sort of play where the ball is going to be pitched around. That's essentially going to be up to BYU to blanket the offense and cover down in some of those skill positions.
Tyrell Johnson, former track star, he can really fly, but you get the sense it'll take more magic than it will speed to pull off a miracle here. And why not send Oldroyd out there to kick it off? Squibs it, so they keep it away from Johnson, and Jamardre Cobb goes down and allows them to set up whatever they have in that bag of tricks offensively. 3 seconds from Kalani Sitake getting a win in his debut as BYU coach. Or does Rich Rodriguez in Arizona have some kind of magic left? Solomon dumps it off for Phillips, and he's thrown down. The Sitake era begins with a 2-point win, and the most unlikely of heroes in Jake Oldroyd.
But to me, this was a total team victory across the board, and that even includes the coaching staff. A lot of firsts for everyone involved. They did a tremendous job coming up with a game plan to keep Arizona on their heels. Take a gander at the last play. I mean, usually you like to flip the ball back, not even an opportunity. Power just completely wrapped up Nate Phillips. Look at the excitement.
Kalani Sitake said that he gets emotional thinking about what it means to be the head coach at BYU. Let's go down to Jenny Taft.
Coach, you always said that going back to BYU was going home, and to get your first win in this fashion, what does it mean to you?
I'm just happy for the kids. I mean, these guys worked extremely hard. A lot of credit to Arizona. That was a great game, and our fans supported us, so it was an awesome time.
When you think about what Taysom Hill did tonight, he obviously came out, was a leader, and then showed such poise in those last couple minutes. What can you say about his play?
Oh, that was awesome. I mean, he's doing exactly what we thought he would do. And a lot of guys on our team stepped up. We had a freshman kick the ball to win the game-winning field goal. So everybody stepped up. Our coaches did a great job, and I'm just really extremely happy for our guys. I just love it. Go Cougs!
Favorite moment from this win?
What's that?
Favorite moment for you? This has got to be a favorite.
The ending when we won. So that was great. We're looking forward. We're going to enjoy this. We're looking forward to the next one. You know, it's an honor for us to call Utah our rival. So we're excited about that game and looking forward to going to right side coach.
Congratulations. Enjoy this.
Thank you.
Guys.
All right, Jenny, Coach Sataki. Final here from University of Phoenix Stadium. 18-16. BYU wins it on an old droid field goal. Now we get you to Rob Stone in Los Angeles for a round.